In today's video, we are taking another awesome character from mythology and reimagine him or her as a Dungeons and Dragons character based on his or her abilities and powers according to the scriptures while making an artwork of the character as that reimagined D&D hero, mixing mythology and fantasy together. The Dungeons and Dragons, or simply D&D, is a fantasy tabletop RPG where players role-playing as fantasy heroes form a group and delve into a mysterious journey filled with adventures, monsters, and of course, rich rewards. These games have some basic rules with the heroes and villains bound by some regulations that control their movements and actions, but on the whole, the campaigns are pretty much liberal with players' choices. Today, we imagine what Goddess Durga, the greatest divine warrior of Indian mythology, will be as a Dungeons and Dragons hero and draw her accordingly. Goddess Durga is actually the manifestation of the primal energy of the universe that took the form of a warrior goddess to defeat a near-immortal demon. Near-immortal because the demon Mahishasur could not be killed by any male creature, be it a god, a demon, a beast, anything. As women at that time hardly takes part in the battles, and the demon being an excellent warrior and wizard, there was no way to defeat him. So he did what demons generally do with that much power. He conquered all the realms, drove the gods out of heaven, denied them the faith they need to survive by controlling the mortals who were the source of their much needed faith, and brought upon an age of destruction. So, the gods and mortals sought refuge to the holy trinity of existence, but the trinity are actually the male counterpart of the primal forces, and as they were also male, they themselves could not end the tyrant. So, finally, the trinity prayed to Mother Shakti, the fundamental energy that moves the universe and also the feminine aspect of all the primordial forces, to materialize into the warrior goddess the world desperately needed. And then came Goddess Durga, the embodiment of Shakti. The gods and mortals offered their aid in forms of divine weapons, armor, accessories, and a great lion mount. A trident was given by Lord Shiva, the prime god of destruction. A mace and the Sudarshan Chakra, a divine disc-like weapon, were given by Lord Vishnu, the prime god of preservation. A sword was given by Lord Ganesha, the lord of beginning and remover of obstacles. An axe and a divine armor was given by Lord Vishwakarma, the god of crafts and engineering. A spear was given by Lord Agni, the god of fire, and a bow and arrow were given by Lord Vayu, the god of wind. A lotus flower and kamandalu, a pot containing divine elixir, were given by Lord Brahma, the prime god of creation. A great conch was given by Lord Varun, the god of water, to be used as her war horn. A thunderbolt was given by Lord Indra, the king of the gods, and a mountain lion was presented by Lord Himalaya, the king of mountains. Armed with the divine weapons, the goddess descended on earth and challenged the demon king. At first, the demon soldiers confronted her, thinking her just being a rebellious foolish woman, but very soon, the entire demon army got decimated just by that one single lady. Finally, the demon king confronted this mysterious female assailant. For 9 days and 9 nights, the realms witnessed a terrifying duel between two impossible forces. On the 10th day, the final blow on the demon king was landed, and the giant warrior collapsed to the ground. His rule was finally over. The goddess returned to her dimension, leaving behind a world free from the terror of oppression. Her triumph is commemorated in the festival of Durga Puja and Navaratri, celebrated with immense devotion across India. The 9 days of Navaratri represent the 9 nights of that great battle, with the 10th day, Vijayadashami, symbolizing her ultimate victory. Significantly, many years later, in another battle between good and evil, Prince Ram, blessed by Goddess Durga on the first day, killed Demon King Ravan on the same 10th day. So these two battles have an exciting link as per Indian mythology. So this is the basic story of Goddess Durga. Now let's see how we can configure her as a D&D character. We begin with her race. As she is the embodiment of primal forces, we can make it parallel to being a race with divine connection, and in this scenario, Asimars should be the best choice here because they are humanoid beings carrying a spark of celestial existence or heavenly powers. Now this will grant her dark vision up to 60 feet, celestial resistance, which means resistance to necrotic and radiant damage, and healing hands, an action that can regain hit points equal to her level as per long rest. She will also know the cantrip light, and her charisma score is also increased. For her alignment, it is no brainer, she will be lawful good because her mission is to protect the weak and punish the wicked, and she holds firm to a code of honor and justice. For background, we went through a lot of options, but in most cases the proficiencies we need and its associated backgrounds seemed out of touch when it comes to Goddess Durga. I may have been a little biased because being an Indian I grew up with revering a specific image of the goddess, so finally we choose folk hero because goddess is a protector of innocent and the common people, making the folk hero background a fitting choice. She is summoned to defend those who cannot defend themselves and is celebrated as the savior of the universe. Plus the proficiencies, animal handling goes well with her having a giant mountain lion as a mount, and survival is always good for an warrior. In case of proficiencies, getting religion and insight also resonates well with the goddess. Now comes the most interesting part, her class. Here we are going with multiclassing her as a paladin and a cleric. This is mostly because we have to account for all of her weapons, which are more than 2 hands can hold, and as per the scriptures she has 10 hands to wield and effectively use all the weapons the gods has presented her. We can think of these weapons as spiritual weapons of cleric. The difference is that she can summon all these weapons as spiritual weapons together instead of a single spiritual weapon. But I think we can take that slight artistic liberty. Moreover, being a divine vanquisher of evil, her actions can have great synergy with all the smiting and striking of a holy warrior. Precisely, both paladin and cleric. Moreover, paladin gets heavy armor proficiency. In both cases, high wisdom and charisma are needed, so they go well with each other. In fantasy setting, clerics are known to be devoted to a specific deity. Paladins are also passionately devoted to a specific oath, though there are oathbreakers paladins too. Now, Goddess Durga being the divine embodiment of Mother Shakti, the primordial driving force of the universe, it can be imagined as the patron deity of Durga. For Paladin side, Oath of Vengeance can be used to showcase her demon smiting attribute. Coming to the stat points, we are talking about a level 20 D&D character, the maximum level permitted, and we will be focusing on her martial powers because she is ultimately a warrior goddess. Being a paladin cleric hybrid, she will have high charisma and strength, closely followed by wisdom and constitution. As an Asimar, she will have +2 for charisma and +1 for wisdom. So 18 point in charisma with +2 racial bonus makes it 20, offering excellent spellcasting as a paladin and cleric both. 14 points in strength with 2 +2 from ability score improvements for 2 4 level increases, also making it 20, giving her incredible physical might, channeling divine strength to smite her foes. Constitution will be at 15, which is needed for being extremely resilient against demons, and wisdom will be 15 +1 racial bonus, meaning at 16, also needed for a good paladin cleric multiclass. Intelligence and dexterity can be kept at 10. This leaves us with 3 feats to be used in our way to level 20. We will be choosing Warcaster for our concentration of spellcasting, Tough for extra health, and Polearm Master as 2 of our weapons are Trident and Spear, which are polearms, and we can imagine using a Thunderbolt as a polearm too. The idea of holding a Thunderbolt like a polearm appeared pretty intriguing to me, and so we have drawn the goddess holding a Thunderbolt as a primary weapon. Great Weapon Master can also be a great feat, and it can be taken instead of Tough or Polearm Master. For multiclassing, we are taking level 12 of Paladin and going with Oath of Vengeance subclass, and level 8 of Cleric with War Domain. The Vengeance Paladin empowers her mission to hunt down and destroy evil beings with no mercy. Her abilities reflect her relentless pursuit of justice and punishment of those who harm the innocent. The War Domain Cleric powers her combat prowess with divine blessing and martial support, and her ability to lead and inspire warriors in battle, which complements her physical might. Irrespective of starting with Paladin or Cleric, Goddess Durga gets the heavy armor proficiency. In mythology, Lord Vishwakarma, the god of crafts and engineering, bestowed her a divine golden armor. Here we are drawing the armor based on another fantasy franchise, Warhammer 40k. I like the heavy pauldrons and overall concept of a colossal power armor, which itself turns the warrior into a walking castle. Now, the armor is heavily modified according to the Indian fantasy, so that it does not look like out of place. We are also adding some special features in the armor to fit it in the lore of the goddess. The lion-faced pauldrons are indicating her mountain lion mount. The metal halo behind the goddess as a part of her power armor is inspired by the Sudarshan Chakra. The lotus insignia on her breastplate and the pot-like emblem on her belt symbolizes the lotus flower and Komondolu, the pot containing divine elixir. The golden conch on her arm guard shows the great warhorn conch given by Lord Varun. The snakes on her knee guard signify the great serpent given by Lord Shiva to embody the consciousness and energy of the universe. In this connection, I am thrilled to say that I just got my hands on a Warhammer action figure made by McFarlane Toys, and it looks pretty great. Now, Let's look into how multiclassing into Paladin and Cleric shapes Goddess Durga as a D&D hero. Her primary role as a protector and destroyer of evil makes her an ideal paladin, specifically following the Oath of Vengeance. This subclass focuses on pursuing and eliminating those who commit grievous wrongs and maintaining justice by ensuring that evil is punished. In her mythological stories, she is summoned specifically to defeat the demon king Mahishasur and his army, symbolizing her role as the avenger of wrongs. At level 1, as a paladin, she gets divine sense, which can be used to detect presence of any strong evil or divine forces. She also gets lay on hand, which is a healing spell that can cure disease and poisons. At paladin level 2, she learns spellcasting and also gets to choose her fighting style. We are going with blessed warrior style. This style lets a paladin choose from cleric spell list for the cantrips, which are actually spells that do not use spell slots. At Paladin level 3, the Oath of Vengeance opens channel divinity skills, where she can frighten and immobilize an enemy through abjure enemy, or through vow of enmity gets advantage on attacking her enemy. Vow of enmity is a great choice considering she is facing very powerful demons face to face. She also begins to get Oath of Vengeance spells, where much more spells are added for increasing couple of levels. Now, being a level 12 paladin, she has access to 4th level spells from paladin spells, and there are a plethora of spells she can cast as a level 12 paladin. However, to keep synergy with her mythological actions, these are the spells we think will be best. For first level spells, Hunter's Mark is a vengeance spell that deals extra damage while attacking. Shield of Faith increases AC or armor class of heavy armor, boosting her defense. For second level spells, Hold Person, a vengeance spell that lets her paralyze her enemy, and Find Steed can be used to summon the mountain lion to be her mount, as illustrated in the ancient books. The mountain lion was offered to Durga by Lord Himala, the king of mountains. In the drawing, we have designed her giant palerons with lion face to symbolize her trusted cavalry. Third level vengeance spell will be Haste, which doubles her speed, increases armor, and grants an extra action, really handy for a warrior in battlefield. For other paladin spell, we can choose Dispel Magic or Remove Curse to nullify the demoning witchcraft in battle. For 4th level paladin spells, we are taking Staggering Smite that deals a hefty damage and stun the enemy, along with Banishment, which exiles a creature to another plane for some time. This can remove an enemy or safeguard an ally depending on the situation. Now that we are discussing potential spells, let's discuss cleric spells also. As a level 8 War Domain cleric, Goddess Durga gets 4th level of cleric spells too. For cantrips, that is the spells not requiring spell slots, she can cast Guidance, which helps her in ability checks, Sacred Flame, which deals good radiant damage, and Thaumaturgy, which creates magical effects, which goes well with her being a supernatural force. Among level 1 cleric spells, Bless and Divine Favor suits her best. Bless helps in attacks and defense, and Divine Favor adds radiant damage to her attacks. Second level cleric spells are what adds the actual flavor of her being a goddess with multiple weapons. We get Spiritual Weapon, which summons a magical weapon, but here we are taking the artistic liberty. The Spiritual Weapon spell of Goddess Durga does not summon only one weapon, but all the weapons she was bestowed with. We have drawn these weapons as spiritual weapons summoned simultaneously in the battlefield and hovering around her. For this advantage, let's forego the second spell we could get access to. For third level cleric spells, Spirit Guardians and Beacon of Hope are excellent choices to go with the thematic aspects of Goddess Durga. Spirit Guardians can be viewed as the power of the gods assisting her. To be honest, the floating divine weapons around her can be a result of amalgamation of spiritual weapon and spirit guardians. We can imagine that the divine weapons are acting as spirit guardians and she can command each of them as a single spiritual weapon. Beacon of Hope can be imagined as another layer of divine protection. Death Ward is the only 4th level cleric spell we need, because even at level 20 we can use only 2 level 4 spell slots and we already have banishment from paladin spell. Death Ward protects one from getting killed, and the ability to use it more than twice would be better than taking another spell. Now, as a Paladin Cleric multiclass, Goddess Durga gets some excellent actions like Divine Smite, which deals radiant damage with melee weapon strike. Most of the weapons she wields are melee weapons like trident, axe, mace, sword, so we can see lots of smiting evil beings. We already talked about Divine Sense, detecting presence of any strong evil or divine forces, lay on hands for healing, and vow of enmity to get advantage on a chosen enemy. She also gets an extra attack at level 5 Paladin. She also gets Aura of Protection and Aura of Courage at Paladin level 6 and 10. She gets Relentless Avenger at level 7, allowing her to chase down fleeing enemies immediately after the attack to stop them from retreating. and her divine smite gets more powerful at Paladin level 10. As a Wardoman Cleric up to level 8, from Cleric level 1, she gets a bonus action when attacking her foes, giving her another chance to strike. Like Paladins, she also gets Channel Divinity skills here, which are Guided Strike at level 2 and War God's Blessing at level 6, both enhancing attack of her and her allies respectively. At Cleric level 8, she gets Divine Strike, dealing extra damage with her attack. Finally, at level 20, Goddess Durga is a divine warrior with unparalleled power. As a Paladin of Vengeance, she focuses on striking down enemies with precision and strength, using her Vow of Enmity and Divine Smite to unleash massive damage. Her Wardoman Cleric levels allows her to control the battlefield with spells like Spirit Guardian, Spirit Weapon, and Prevent Death with Death Ward. Her combination of spells, feats, and divine smites make her a powerhouse, blending the relentless offense of Oath of Vengeance Paladin with the tactical abilities of the Wardoman Cleric. She excels at engaging single powerful enemies through Vow of Enmity and Divine Smite, crowd control with Spirit Guardians, spiritual weapons, and haste to keep the battlefield in her favor, unleashing devastating melee attacks with improved Divine Smite, dealing radiant damage that is particularly effective against fiends and Arned and demons. The hybrid of Vengeance Paladin and Wardoman Cleric brings together divine justice, martial prowess, and righteous wrath. Known as the embodiment of divine feminine power and the destroyer of evil, Goddess Durga in this form becomes the ultimate divine warrior, a protector, an avenger, and a beacon of divine justice. She can annihilate enemies with radiant smites and lead armies into battle. Her charisma and divine presence would allow her to inspire allies, bless them with divine protection, and heal them when necessary. She represents the unstoppable force of divine vengeance and justice, bringing both wrath and protection to those in need, and this perfectly embodies her mythological role as the slayer of demons and the savior of the righteous. Here is the final artwork of the Goddess Durga as a Dungeons and Dragons hero. Hope you like the art and the discussion. Tell us which mythological or fictional character you want to see as a fantasy hero or villain next, and we will be drawing them while discussing it with you. If you like this video, please check out our channel where we make art, discussion mythology, stories, video games, and many other things. You can also like, share, and subscribe, and also leave your valuable comment. Thank you. See you soon.